So far, we've seen one-way data binding. We've seen the property bindings where we get information into a template or an element. And we've also seen event bindings where we get information sent from the template out to the class. Now, what about one of our favorite features from Angular 1, which was two-way data binding? Using two-way data binding and typing into an input box and seeing that input change magically right next to it is some of the coolest stuff that we saw in Angular 1. In Angular 2, two-way data binding is a little differently implemented than in Angular 1, but in our eyes, it still looks the exact same. It's pretty much magic. For two-way data binding, we're going to use both the property bindings and the event bindings, and we'll use ngModel, just like we did in Angular 1. Now, that might seem crazy, but again, that's totally valid HTML. This is called the banana in a box. Let's take a look at how we can actually use this in our applications and get two-way data binding just how we remember it from Angular 1. Since Angular 2 is very modular, we actually have to bring in a forms module in order to use two-way data binding and that ngModel banana in a box. This is because Angular 2 is very modular and will bring in what we need when we need it. Go into app-module.ts. We'll bring in import forms module, and we already brought in the package earlier. We'll do Angular forms, and then let's bring that into this imports. Now we're ready to use two-way data binding. Let's open app component.ts. Down in the user's profile, once we have an active user, let's put an input box here, class form control, which is a bootstrap class. And let's do our banana in a box right here, ngModel is equal to active user.name. Let's take a look in the browser. We can select a user, see this input box here. As we start typing, we can see our two-way data binding works just like we remember it. And we'll leave that there so that we can change information out on the fly. Now we have three very powerful things. We have one-way data binding using property bindings. We have one-way data binding with event bindings. And now we can see we have two-way data binding as well. So Angular 2 is really taking a lot of the best parts of Angular 1, changing it up so that it's faster and more efficient, and also giving us some extra stuff that we can work with. Next, let's do some quick refactoring just to get some cleanup going for our application.